Hi, this is Brookhaven Town Supervisor Dan Panico. Thank you for watching Supervisor Panico on the air. Today we have probably the most known figure in Suffolk County, former supervisor, current county executive, Ed Romaine. Ed, thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
So, first, do you miss Brookhaven?
Always miss Brookhaven. Brookhaven's a great town. It's our largest town, and it has a lot of great communities and people in it. And I enjoyed being supervisor for the 12 years I was here.
It's as hectic, Ed, I can assure you, as it was when you were here, if not more. But you're doing great things in Suffolk County. I recently read, and you've been a top environmentalist in Suffolk County for quite some time. Whether you were a legislator, county clerk, supervisor, you were legislated twice, and a county executive. Plum Island. How is that going with the federal government?
That's going well, and a lot of people saw that. What that was our request for aid from Long Island Regional Development Council to help us develop a plan for the future of Plum Island. Plum Island is something I have an interest in. I used to represent Plum Island in the county legislature. It's a hidden gem of an island. It's about 842 acres, and there's a lot of old army barracks that would make great housing, could be fixed up, but are just sitting there. The one big thing is the Animal Research Center is there. That's closing down. The federal government opened that in 1953-54 and is closing it and moving it to Manhattan, Kansas. So they have no further use for Plum Island. We want a couple things. Number one, we want them to clean up any environmental leftovers so the island is clean and ready to go. Two, we're looking to reuse the Animal Research Center to be a research center. And we're looking for someone like a Stony Brook University to step in. What would they research? Well, they're researching climate change, ocean ride, and other environmental issues. Right now, they're supposed to be doing that on Governor's Island. I couldn't think of a more of an area that's really not the right place to do that. If you're going to study the ocean and the environment and everything else, the best place to do that is Plum Island, where the Atlantic meets Long Island Sound. It's a great place to do that, and that's where they should be doing their research. Atmospheric and oceanic research. Perfect place, not Gardiner's Island in the middle of New York Harbor.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think if you asked the vast majority of Brookhaven, vast majority of Suffolk County would like to see Plum Island saved and repurposed perhaps in that manner. Talking about Brookhaven, upcoming, we're in the throes of America 250. 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, creation of this great country. Your office has been fantastic in rolling out a series of events for America 250, and we have one coming up right in Port Jefferson Village.
August 15th. Last year, Suffolk County started the first annual Oyster Fest. It was at Smith Point. It was a tremendous success. Unlike the Oyster Fest in Oyster Bay, those oysters come mostly from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Our oysters are all Suffolk growers showing what they have grown in Suffolk. Once again, our second Oyster Fest we're going to do at Port Jeff Harbor. And why? Who was the signer of who wrote the Declaration of Independence again?
Thomas Jefferson.
That's why we're doing it there. 250th. So we're going to have our second Oyster Festival. It's going to run from about 11 to 6 o'clock on Saturday, August 15th, with a rain date of August 16th. We're going to have multiple Suffolk County oyster growers with their oysters, which you can eat raw, fried, and a whole host of varieties. Come down, you'll find out how delicious oysters can taste.
Yeah, I know that Suffolk County last year did Smith Point Park. It was an overwhelming success. I'm sure this year is going to be great as well. And Port Jefferson Village is a picturesque waterfront village that it lends itself to this type of event.
Fantastic. We have buses and parking, so you don't have to park right next door. We have different parking areas. We have an information number you could call, and boom, and that number would be, just call 311, and they'll connect you, or give the county exec's office a call. Ask for Kristen McKay. She is running this event along with Will Drakowski. So those two have done a yeoman's job in putting this event together. We are going to have at least 15 oyster growers, if not more. It's even bigger than last year and will grow each year. And this year, it's going to be on the North Shore in the great village of Port Jefferson.
Well, it's a great event. We've got a lot of inquiries because your team's done a great job on social media promoting the event. We're working with you in your office and all the legislators too. There's a lot of legislators who are working to promote the event, and this is a special year. So we appreciate you doing it in Brookhaven Town, in Port Jeff Village. And one thing I've noticed, as you know, in the position you once held, I travel all across this town, and I see the investment in infrastructure, in our roads, our drainage, County Road 21, William Floyd Parkway. You've made a significant investment in infrastructure.
Not enough. We need to do more. We have neglected our infrastructure. We need to do more, and we need to get the people that should be doing more involved, such as the MTA. Our rail lines need to be electrified. We need to have double tracks so that trains can run in both directions. You go east of Babylon, east of Ronkonkoma, east of Huntington, which means almost all of Brookhaven. There is no double track. There is no electric rail. So that has to change. And what's worse is many of these things along the way don't have overpasses or underpasses. So the gate, if, for example, if you're in Carlton Avenue in Central Islip, that gate goes down 72 times a day. It's a 2-lane highway in either direction, State Road 111. You know what happens there?
Sure, it's the same thing that happens on William Floyd Parkway.
William Floyd Parkway is another example of where we need either an underpass or an overpass. You have 50,000 people living south of Montauk Highway. That gate goes down, boom, and there's only two ways to get off that peninsula. William Floyd Parkway and Mastic Road. Yes, there are other side roads, but those are the two major roads. If there's ever a disaster, boom, it creates chaos. And when one of those roads closed a few years ago, there was chaos in the peninsula because there was only one way to get out.
Yeah, I know, Senator Murray from that area, Assemblyman Joe DeStefano, he supports it. We support it at the town. County supports it. The Long Island Railroad and the MTA are just intransigent in their position. They do not want any more at-grade crossings, but they do not fund an alternative means of an overpass or an underpass. You know, we were both at the ribbon cutting for the Yaphank BNL station up William Floyd Parkway. That was great. I spoke to Jano Lieber. As I'm a member of the Pine Barrens Commission, so are you, given our positions. I want to see that application coming out from to electrify and double track all the way out to Riverhead.
Yes.
And I think it's so important because what is the common refrain we hear? I hear it at the town, you hear it at the county. Long Island sends X amount of money up to Albany.
And Washington.
And Washington.
And we don't get that money back.
The money, we're not getting our fair share. And investments in infrastructure are the investments that pay off for the economy, that create good paying jobs. And it's high time that the state listen to the people down island who need the money for worthwhile projects. Before we came on the air this segment, we talked about the Bond Act and the billions of dollars in New York State. We both support the Dick Amper Preserve, right?
Yes.
North of Mauritius Middle Island Road.
Yes.
A sizable tract of land. We've been able to preserve almost 180 of those acres of the 800. That is a worthwhile purchase. And we've sent letters up to Albany, but the money just does not seem to be coming down to this area.
It's probably because this county has not supported the political party of the current governor or the state elected officials. No state elected official have carried Suffolk for some time. And I hope that isn't it, because politics should not decide this. Need and the benefit to the state overall should decide these issues. And it's a shame. I mean, there's so many things that you could do that we don't see. I just talked to you about the landfill. As you know, the landfill has some leachate problems that has impacted the local areas, and the landfill's going to close. How about using some of that environmental bond to remediate some of those impacts? And we don't hear anything from that. I just was on the phone with the environmental commissioner for the state this morning and mentioned that to her. It's just like you're talking to people and they listen, but you know it's going in one ear and out the other.
Well, solid waste and garbage
Oh.
is, in my view, the number one affordability issue that is a hazard for our region. We are an island with a passenger rail line that runs east and west, and a roadway system that is predominantly east and west. It is not a freight line. We both tried to get rail where it made sense, to possibly have another outlet for municipal solid waste or the ash that's created from the waste to energy facilities.
Parcel D.
That is, identified as Parcel D, which would have made sense. Kings Park, there was another effort. Both efforts were stymied. And now, the power purchase agreements, which are the agreements between LIPA and the entity known as Reworld, formerly Covanta, where all of the municipal solid waste, Brookhaven, Islip, Smithtown, Huntington, Hempstead, and a lot of villages in Nassau, when you pull your pails out twice a week to the road, gets picked up, doesn't go into the landfill, goes to a waste to energy facility. And there's an agreement between Reworld and LIPA. They produce the power, they buy the power. That agreement runs on October 31st, 2027, next year.
This is one where all hands need to be on deck. I was saddened to see that Stony Brook University, which was originally interested in solid waste, backed off having a solid waste symposium at Southampton College, which is run by Stony Brook, this year, this August. So instead, we're reformulating that and going to have a conference that will be run by the county in October. So now we're going to take the lead in working with towns and villages on what we can do. What we need is a BUD, B-U-D, a beneficial use determination from the state, from DOT, to say that glass, which can be ground as fine as talcum powder, can be used as an aggregate instead of sand. Stop the sand mining. Start using some things like crushed glass. Start using some things as ash. As you know, on Stony Brook University in 1989, they went to Brookhaven landfill and took ash and made ash blocks and built a boathouse, which still stands today. In fact, it is stronger today than the day it was built in 1989. And it's still standing, and it's what it says we can do in terms of using ash from Covanta to create, construction aggregate.
It's disappointing, and what I find is that when it suits them, the state will hide behind municipal home rule. But when they twice wanted to take over local zoning and municipal planning authority to locate, dense multifamily housing, they said, what municipal home rule? You can't have it that way, and the DEC should be a partner. In a supposedly progressive state of New York, we roll around on Long Island on 19th century diesel trains. We don't have any willingness to meet the challenges of waste management, and they leave individual towns up to doing it alone, when the DEC should be as much innovators as they are regulators.
We need a bigger, better bottle bill so that we can recycle some of those. We need reuse of glass as an aggregate in construction and road. So we need some of these things. Some of the other things we need that the state legislature has repeatedly failed to pass is extended producer responsibility, which would make producers of packaging responsible for making sure it was recyclable. And that has failed each time in the state legislature, which is regrettable. So there's a lot of things that we could be doing. Obviously, helping us, because part of that Environmental Bond Act could be used to clean up some of the ingredients from the landfill before it closes. Some of it could be used to help us with better recycling programs. Some of it could be used for composting. I know I've been trying to get the county, and we're going to do it this year. We're going to buy, 200 or 300 composters, and we're going to share with any school that wants it. Well, we have 69 school districts and 222 schools in this county. And we're willing to give every school, free of charge, a composter, and we're going to hire a recycling coordinator to go to each school to explain how to do backyard composting and how to use it in your garden. Again, it's restricted to people who have a backyard, because if you live in multifamily, you can't get this done. So, but it's a start. We need to be doing more environmentally than we are to better determine the future of this island for future generations.
Well, let's shift gears to finances. Taxes are always on the minds of everyone. When you were here, I believe, or perhaps just in your last year or your first year as county executive, we started sending out the pie chart. The tax receiver, Lou Marcosia, sends out a pie chart to show exactly what percentage of your tax bill goes to each taxing jurisdiction. And it's been illustrative, because we both know school districts are
At least 72%.
At least 70% of the tax bill. I have to introduce a budget this year. You have to introduce a budget coming up sometime soon. How is that looking?
That's looking pretty good. One of the things I did when I was Brookhaven supervisor, I came over after Mr. Lesko, and there was a lot of budget angst when he left about layoffs and a whole host of other things. We didn't do those, and we managed to stay within the tax cap, no matter how low the tax cap. People say it was 2%. There were times it was around 1%, but we stayed within the tax cap for the 12 years that I was supervisor. As county executive this year, county general is the tax that's paid by everyone in the county. We will be doing a 0% increase. We will not be increasing taxes, so at all. So we will be doing a 0% increase. We got the message that we have to be responsible and not drive people out of Long Island. We don't want to do that. We want to do whatever we can to make it affordable. I doubt that many school districts will do that, because school district populations continue to drop, but their expenses continue to increase, and you wonder why.
Well, they pay, like you do and I do, the town and the county. If you're going to increase pension contributions from the state, those are borne by every taxing jurisdiction, including the school districts. The healthcare contribution, you're self-insured in the county. We're under NISHIP in the town, and the family plan now is just crested $44,000 a year. So, the soft costs to the town, and this is, I think people don't necessarily realize, but it's illustrative. Before you pay an employee $1, you're about $66,000, $67,000 in cost associated with that employee before paying $1 of salary.
That would be health care, dental care, etc. And then you have pension costs. And as you know, the state just increased our pension costs for Tier 5 and Tier 6.
Yeah, and everyone I talk to, Ed, is happy with the direction of Suffolk County. They love the parks, the beaches, the investment in both, the infrastructure, and you have created more of a presence, I've seen, online, and you have I know you have good people working for you, because they used to work for both of us when you were here as
Well, we have
supervisor.
some new people. We have my director of communications is Mr. Michael Martino. Very good. He has a good staff that we all work together. Actually, we have very few people that was here when I was supervisor. I think I only took Kevin, who was my chief deputy county executive, who was my chief of staff back then, and I took my secretary, Kimberly. But everyone else in my office people that Dan worked for me when I was supervisor. So we have a new crew, but
I think a couple more.
Yeah, who else?
A couple. But we have Will, you have
Oh, Will.
Brendan. I'm not going to go through all the names.
Brendan had left to go to work for the legislature
Oh, and then he ended up with you.
with me.
So how is it? I from where I sit, and I went from a point where we would speak multiple times a day.
Right.
So you have a busy job, I
Right.
have a busy job. I seem to believe that you have a very good relationship with all 18 members of the legislature, regardless of political party.
I do, because we concentrate on common sense things. And most of the legislature, if not all, concentrate on common sense things. So we don't have any disputes. I've been there 2.5 years. I haven't had to veto one bill. I signed all their legislation. Anything that passes unanimously in the legislature, I'm signing. So it's real simple. I work with them, they work with me. It's an easy relationship. I must say I had the exact same relationship with the town board. I mean, we didn't have any dissent in the 12 years. We had one guy, but he left quickly. You know who that was. But other than that guy, we've had great relationship. It didn't matter if you were Democrat, Conservative, or Republican. The town board works together. It's unified. It's a great, great thing. And I came to the county, same thing. We have 18 legislators, we Republican, Conservatives, and Democrats. We all work together, and that's what makes it work. And I don't have a feud with them, and I have great countywide elected officials. We have a tremendous DA. He's downstairs actually doing the seminar in this
Yes.
building now, but he is a great DA that goes after the bad guys, and that's what you want in a DA. We have a great sheriff that does a tremendous job running the jail and doing the things with the deputy sheriffs and correctional officers. We have a very good controller. He's term limited, John Kennedy. We're going to have a new controller come January. We'll see who gets elected, but we hope to work with them because we want to make sure that our bills get paid on time and that people are always money pay us. So that's the job of the controller. So we have a very good county clerk that is there and active, and shows up every day. And
Yeah, he's everywhere. I see him
Yes.
a lot of Brookhaven Town events. He comes out. He is, in these.
He's running this year, but I don't know if he has opposition.
I'm not sure, but I know in these quasi ministerial type positions.
Right.
You have some elected officials who don't show up every day. This man seems to be all over the place. So we have to close out the segment, but I want to ask a question. We generally end the segments with a light-hearted question. True or false? Now, everyone knows you as Ed Romaine, the elected official.
Right.
True or false, you were a bartender in college?
That's a true story.
Tell us about it.
Well, when I went to college, like everyone, you have to get a job somewhere and make some money on the side. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So you go to college, you work. I worked weekends and nights at Howard Johnson's, at the big Howard Johnson's in Mineola,
Okay.
on Jericho Turnpike, as their bartender, and also bussing tables. So you have to hustle when you're young.
And you probably had sore feet by the end of the night.
No, legs. It convinced me never to go into the restaurant business. I'd go home late, maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't fall asleep. My legs would be throbbing because I had been on my feet for a lot of hours. So, but you do that when you're young. Thank God there are people that are young can do that. I don't know if I could do that today.
Well, we appreciate your partnership with the town of Brookhaven and your leadership. Thank you for coming on, again, your second appearance. And I'm Dan Panico. Thank you for watching Supervisor Panico on the air. We will see you next time.